heard the stories, right? Buying property for pennies on the dollar at a tax auction? You've heard the stories, right? Buying property for pennies on the dollar at a tax auction? It sounds like an absolute dream for an investor. But here's the thing. Lurking behind those incredible deals is a world of risk that can turn that dream into a financial nightmare fast. Today, we're diving into the one skill you absolutely need to master to play in this high-stakes world, the tax deed title search. So think of it like this. On one hand, you have a normal property sale. That comes with all kinds of safety nets, title insurance, legal protections, the whole shebang. But on the other hand, you've got a tax deed sale. There is no safety net. It's sold completely as is. And your only, and I mean only, protection is the research you do yourself. So yeah, let's just call it what it is right from the start. It's a gamble. And if you go in without the right information, a property that looks like a total grand slam can very quickly become a complete and total loss. And this quote really just hits the nail on the head. You gotta remember, the county isn't in the real estate business. They just want their back taxes. They're not giving you any promises about the property's history. The second you win that bid, all of its baggage, all of its problems, well, they become your problems. That responsibility is now 100% on you. Okay, so that sounds a little scary, but you're not going into this gamble defenseless. You have a shield, and that shield is the title search. Now, this isn't just about shuffling paperwork, it's an investigation. It's you playing detective to uncover the property's secret history before you even think about putting a single dollar on the line. So let's be super clear about what we mean by title search here. This is not the same as when you buy a regular house. You're not trying to confirm that the title is clean so you can close. It's the exact opposite. Your one and only goal is to actively hunt for any issue, any lien, any claim, any problem that could survive that auction and make your investment worthless. You are literally looking for trouble. And what kind of trouble are we talking about? Well, things like IRS or city liens that just don't get wiped out by the sale, or weird gaps in the ownership history that make the title all cloudy. Or, and this is a big one, claims from long-lost relatives of a dead owner you never even knew existed. Even stuff like restrictions that say you can't build on the land. Every single one of these is a potential landmine that can blow up your deal. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds insanely complicated. And it can be, but you can break it down. Let's think of it as a 3-phase investigation. It's a simple framework that makes this whole complex process way more manageable. So here's how it works. Phase 1, gather your files. This is your digital reconnaissance. You're online, pulling everything you can from the county clerk, the tax assessor, and the mapping sites. Phase 2, trace the history. Here, you're building what's called the chain of title. It's kind of like creating a family tree for the property, going backward from one owner to the next. And finally, phase 3, hunt for threats. This is when you go on the offensive, digging into court records, probate files, and even calling up city departments to find those liens and other hitting bombs. So, when you're tracing that history, how far back do you really need to go? Well, the magic number the pros recommend is 20. 20 years minimum. Why? Because problems can lie dormant for decades. Going back any less than 20 years is just asking for trouble. Think of it as your absolute non-negotiable baseline. All right, so as you're digging through 20-plus years of records, what are the absolute deal breakers? Let's talk about the big, scary monsters that can hide in a property's history and completely devour your investment. Red flag number 1, the IRS. A federal tax lien is a huge deal because it almost always survives the sale. But here's the crazy part. Even after you buy the property, the IRS gets a 120-day window where they can just swoop in, pay you back what you bid, and take the property for themselves. You get your initial money back, sure, but you lose the property and all the time and effort you put in. Next up, you've got municipal liens. We're talking about fines for things like code violations, unpaid water bills, maybe the grass got too high. These also tend to survive the sale. And here's why they're so tricky. They're not always filed in the main county courthouse. You might have to call the city's code enforcement or the water department directly to even find out they exist. And then you've got what might be the messiest problem of all, hidden heirs. If the last owner died without a formal probate case to settle their estate, there could be a whole bunch of legal heirs out there. You could buy the property, think it's yours, and then find yourself in a nasty legal fight with a cousin twice removed who has a legitimate claim to it. It's a total nightmare. Okay, so this chart right here, this is basically your cheat sheet. This is your field guide to the threats. And notice the pattern up top. IRS liens, municipal liens, HOA liens, these guys often survive the sale and stick with the property. Now, mortgages and other judgments usually get wiped out. But, and this is a big but, you have to check your specific state's laws. The whole name of the game is knowing what sticks and what goes away. So after all this detective work, after gathering the files, tracing the history, and hunting down all the threats, it's time to put it all together. It's time to turn your investigation into a clear, final verdict. It all comes down to a simple choice: to bid or not to bid. And the absolute best way to make that call is to create your own case file, a title summary report. You just systematically lay out everything you found, the entire ownership chain, every lien you uncovered, any potential risks from heirs, all of it. This document isn't just a summary, it's your complete risk profile. It puts all the potential problems right there in front of you in one place. And that brings us to the final, most important question. See, the goal of this whole process was never to find a perfect property. It was to reveal all the hidden traps. So now, with a clear map of all the risks laid out next to the potential rewards, you can finally make a smart choice. Is this particular treasure actually worth the bid? The power to answer that is now in your hands.